County Fairground on Wednesday, August 21st from 1 to 2:30 with lunch at 12:30. Free lunch. Don't miss it.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals in everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Hey guys, it's Bill Bush. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty has opened a new location in Pender, Nebraska, in addition to their office in Lincoln. The real estate world can be confusing, so why wouldn't you want an expert helping you every step of the way? If you're looking to buy or sell farmland in Nebraska, Kansas, or Iowa, give Ethan Sorensen a call today at 402-380-0432 or visit them online at nextagrealestate.com. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty with locations in Lincoln and now Pender, Nebraska.
The 2024 Nebraska football season is here, and we need you to be a part of the Sea of Red Memorial Stadium this fall. A limited number of Husker football single-game tickets are on sale now and are only available while supplies last. Don't miss out on any of the action this season by getting yours before it's too late. To purchase your Husker football single-game tickets, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Riddle's Jewelry is excited to be celebrating 65 years. 65 years of so many incredible memories celebrating with each of your special moments. In celebration of the 65th Riddle's Jewelry anniversary, we will be offering up to 40% off all engagement rings and all diamond fashion jewelry. The excitement doesn't stop there. Riddle's Jewelry is also offering 18 months, 0% interest and $0 down financing on all qualifying purchases. Riddle's Jewelry has always been known for incredible customer service, one of the largest selections of engagement rings, and don't forget about the on-site jeweler. Come celebrate with us at Riddle's Jewelry, your one-stop diamond shop with exclusive Levian jewelry, Pandora Charm jewelry, and more. All at Riddle's inside Gateway Mall.
You already know that Select Plumbing takes care of all your plumbing needs, including water heaters, faucet repairs, leaks, drips, sump pumps, and more. Now, they're able to help you with your heating and air conditioning as well. Select Plumbing has recently expanded into residential heating and air, and they're excited to bring this new service to their complete list of plumbing services. Call to book an appointment today at 402-560-6197 or go to selectplumbinginc.com. Serving Lincoln, Seward, Milford, and the surrounding areas.
Be a memory for your grandchildren. Among Nebraska adults age 65 or older, 47% report current alcohol use. Drinking too much can cause harm to children, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, you will still be around for your grandchildren. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Hey, it's Chad with Nutrition Authority. Enjoy internet-crushing prices at the back-to-school blowout. We're taking our better-than-internet prices and cutting them even deeper, bringing you the biggest sale of the season. Monday, August 12th through Saturday, August 17th, the back-to-school blowout is on at Nutrition Authority. For location info, check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
The weather is hot, the kids are out of school, and you're on your way to the lake and summer road trips. Are you getting to your vacation spot comfortably, or is your car letting you down? Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride for summer road trips and beyond. Mullen Motors.
No tag-on, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
The quarterback out of the shotgun, first and 20, jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and all-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here's your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome, everybody, to Adam Carriker on The Ticket. It is a glorious Monday morning, and if you are the parent of kids who went back to school today, it's a bit of a mixed bag of emotions. All summer long, of course, my family was here and there and every frickin' where because we did the world's longest move. But that point aside, there were 6 little beings running around my house, causing anarchy and chaos. I love them very much. For the past 3 months, and they're nowhere to be found. It's so freaking quiet. The quiet is so deafening, it's about to drive me crazy. Yet it's so peaceful, it's about to drive me crazy. All right. If you have kids who went back to school today because they're in the LPS school system, couple of things. Number one, I'm sure your life is a little calmer, a little crazier because the first day of school, but also it seems a little bit out of sorts. And that's okay because I'm feeling the same freaking way. I can't wait for my kids to come home later today, but I'm also going to enjoy the time in between as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Adam Carriker on The Ticket. As always, we got a loaded show for you fine folks today. I want to put some final thoughts real quick on the Summer Olympics. Personally, my favorite Olympics, okay, I love the Winter Olympics. I had a chance to do some rehab down in Pensacola, Florida, right next to Lindsey Vonn a few years ago when my family and I lived there for, 4 months while we rehabbed my knee, and she was down there rehabbing her knee. I actually beat her in a skiing. I actually beat her in a skiing competition one time. Now, it was a video game with a leg press machine, but we're going to pretend like it was for the Olympic gold in the middle of Salt Lake City, because I'm pretty sure that's where the Winter Olympics are going to be held somewhere, I think, the next 8 to 12 years. And she was not happy afterwards. Basically, you had to mimic what was going on the screen, and we'll ignore the fact that I was farther along in my rehab than her. And but she was not happy. But yeah, it was pretty cool to get to know someone like that. But I love the Summer Olympics. Personally, I love track. Swimming blows my mind when you think about those long races, the endurance that takes. Okay, gymnastics is a sport that I watch, and I literally have the utmost respect for, because I know that if I tried that, I would break my face, and I'm okay with that. Soccer, the women bring home gold, the men bring home gold in basketball, and the women did great in basketball as well, bringing home championships. And it's one of those things where I love the Summer Olympics. So real quick, we're going to chat about the Summer Olympics, mostly the medal count, mostly because the USA had the most. But I also want to give my thoughts on Deion Sanders' insanity. And I'm a Coach Prime guy. I root for him to win almost all of his games. Definitely not their second game of the year in Lincoln. But I believe when certain programs are better, I think college football is better. Okay? As much as I dislike Miami of Florida, mostly because of, games of the bygone years past. But college football is better when Miami's better. Okay. College football is better when Notre Dame is better. I hate the fact that they get to have their cake and eat it too. Okay. That annoys the crap out of me, and it always will until someday it changes, because they won't have all the leverage at some point with what the Big Ten and SEC are doing. But teams like Oregon, they've actually never won a national title, but teams like that, when they're better, when Nebraska is better, college football is better. So I root for what's best for college football. I hope Iowa loses every game they ever play. Same with Texas, and I'm okay with that. I actually root for Oklahoma. Friendly rivalry there. I wish we could play more often, to be honest with you. Colorado, don't really root for Colorado, but I root for Coach Prime. When Deion Sanders, when his teams are doing good, college football is better. It's more entertaining. He brings eyeballs to the sport. He brings a celebrity status to the sport that just nobody else can bring. Okay, he brings things to the sport I don't even think Nick Saban could bring. as great as Nick Saban is. Okay. That's just my opinion. And yes, I've been very open. He was my favorite NFL player when I was growing up. So that absolutely influences me. But his insanity and what's going on, or what is allegedly going on in that locker room at CU, from gambling debts to guns and et cetera, et cetera. It's just, I'll offer some quick thoughts there as well. And then I want to get back. Andy Janovich, actually. Shout out to Andy. He's always down to come on and talk some Husker football. He's going to join me at 12:30 today as well. Always love talking to Andy. Nebraska fullbacks. It doesn't get much better than that, ladies and gentlemen. I do want to dive back into my preseason top 15 rankings. The odds of getting through all 15 teams with the amount of time that I'm going to have left after we talk about everything else is about zero. It's roughly about zero. So I'm hoping, because I did 15 or 25 through 15 on Friday, I'm hoping I can just get 15 through 10 today. Okay, so I can do my top 10 this Friday. As you find folks know, every Monday and Friday I'm live. Tuesday I'm talking pro wrestling with DP, Derek Pearson, the face that runs the place. Thursday is the Big Ten show. Wednesday, noon to 1 p.m. Central Time. Here on the most loaded hour, or one of the most loaded hours on radio, Steve Taylor, former All-American Nebraska quarterback, comes in, does his rap session, and drops that knowledge. Real quick before we dive into my final thoughts on the Summer Olympics, give some quick thoughts on Coach Prime's insanity. Okay, I want to give a shout out to Bonzel Pool and Spa. Check them out at bonzelpool.com. They do a great job putting in pools, putting in hot tubs. If you have such things, the aforementioned things, pools, hot tubs, saunas as well, go to bonzelpool.com. They do a great job of taking care of those things once you have them in as well. All right, the Summer Olympics. Medal count. I found this very interesting. United States, okay, just looking at the gold and silver medals. There was 84 total for the United States. 40 gold medals, 44 silver medals, so 84 gold and silver. Okay, Katie Ledecky of the USA in the women's 1,500-meter freestyle medley. Okay, just kind of does what she does, just blows people out of the water. She's someone who blows my mind because a lot of those races are endurance-type races. And I get in the pool, and honestly, I swim for like 3 minutes, and I probably was out of gas about 90 seconds before 3 minutes came around. So the things that impress me the most are endurance. I mean, it all impresses me, to be honest with you. But endurance, swimmers, gymnastics blows my mind. Soccer, what a lot of these athletes can do is just mind-blowing to me. Okay. So China, right? They had 40 gold medals, 27 silver medals. I will say this, some of the breakdancing did not blow my mind at all. I'm pretty sure I could have done some of that. And that's all I got to say about that. All right, moving on. If you saw any of the breakdancing videos, some of it was more impressive than other things, that is for sure. Japan had 20 gold medals as well. Australia, 18 gold medals. France, 16 gold medals, focusing on the gold medals at this point. Netherlands, 15 gold medals. Great Britain, 14 gold medals. All right. Republic of Korea, 13 gold medals. Italy, 12 gold medals. And just for full disclosure, they had 13 silver medals and 15 bronze medals as well. Germany had 12 gold medals, 13 silver medals, and 8 bronze medals. But the U.S. had the most amount of medals. And I was just kind of curious, which Olympians had the most amount of medals all time? Okay. And I knew who number one was. Number one was Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps. All right. 28 total medals, 23 gold medals. Think about that. That's just crazy to me. Katie Ledecky, the aforementioned, 14 total medals, 9 gold medals. Mark Spitz, 11 total medals, 9 gold medals. Carl Lewis, a lot of Americans in here, pretty much the whole list. All right. Carl Lewis, if you remember him, he was good in so many different track events, all around, phenomenal athlete, 10 total medals, 9 gold medals. Jenny Thompson, an Olympic swimmer, American Olympic swimmer, if you're not familiar, 12 total medals, 8 gold medals throughout her Olympic career so far as well. So the Summer Olympics, something I enjoy watching. I particularly enjoy, I'm amazed by some of the things that some of these athletes can do. personally, I'm drawn to track, just the speed. Like Bobby Bowden said, speed. Either you have it or you're chasing it. One of my favorite quotes of all time. So I'm always drawn to track. So that's something I always enjoy watching very much. And the photo finishes. And I've seen the GIFs. You know, the difference between, like, in the 100 men's final, like the difference between being a world champion and being fourth place, and I don't even know who fourth place was, so not even having your name, no disrespect. They work their butts off and they are fast. But the difference between being a world champion and being fourth and not even getting on the podium at all is that. Like, literally the snap of my fingers. That's the difference. That's how it's crazy. That's how hard they have to train. That's how close it is. And that's how little room for error it is. And that's one of the reasons it appeals to me so much. All right, kind of moving on. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. All right, a report came out, you know, guns in the locker room and gambling debts being owed and players getting slapped in the faces, so to speak. I believe it was Cormani McClain, who's now at Florida, who's one of Deion, if not his most highest talked about, rated recruits of all time. I believe it was alleged that his son Shiloh Sanders actually slapped him in the face. There's a 5-star offensive tackle who was going to be asked to contribute for Colorado as a true freshman this fall. And reports are that last spring he had to get in a fight with another offensive lineman, you know, to prove his toughness or to prove his manhood. You know, some of this, I mean, I'm just going to be honest. It's not the first time I've heard of someone having to fight to prove their toughness, so to speak, in a football locker room. And whether you like it, don't like it, agree or disagree with that, that in a way, depending on the locker room, depending on the culture, has been a part of football for a while. I don't know that you go, I've actually been a part of locker rooms where there was a fight club, just FYI. But I don't know if that's a part of every football locker room. And I do think it's definitely not the way that it once was. But honestly, the things that stuck out to me, you know, was the guns and the gambling debts. And, you know, when you've got people getting NIL, and a lot of these young men grew up in rough situations, and they've got, you know, more money than they probably could have imagined as a young man in some of their situations. And gambling can be addictive. It can be fun. It can also lead to issues, like in the Colorado locker room, so to speak. I think the thing that actually stuck out to me the most was probably the guns. I believe there was a picture of Deion fishing with one of his players, and there was a gun right there in play sight, and they kind of have debates about who's the most strapped on the team, at least according to the reports, allegedly. You know, that's an issue. That's a problem. I think that goes without saying. I think that's beyond obvious. When I think of Deion Sanders, I think great player, a coach who had great success, okay, at his previous school, given a great chance at Colorado, a lot of publicity. I always thought of a guy who was flashy, who utmost confidence. You can call him cocky if you want, but is it really cocky if you can back it up? And so those are all the things that I kind of like, but this reminds me a little bit more of Miami type locker rooms, University of Miami of Florida type locker rooms. And I've known some of those guys who went to Miami, and I got the opportunity to actually meet some of them who played, and I didn't get to know them, but I got to meet them, some of the guys who played in the late 80s, early 90s, especially 80s Miami's locker rooms. And I didn't envision Colorado kind of turning into that. And that's what this reminds me of. And the other thing that sticks out is there's blatant favorites. Okay, obviously his two sons, Travis Hunter, there was a video put out on X, at least that's where I saw it, where he's talking about don't touch Shedeur. Well, he's a quarterback. Okay, fine. Don't touch Travis. And I was like, Travis Hunter, like, you can't touch him in practice. And he goes, I'm not playing favorites, but this is just the way it is. That's what he said. And I'm like, well, you are playing favorites. It's beyond obvious. And the fact that the Travis can't even be touched. Now, an argument could be made. This guy's going to play more snaps because he's going to play both ways, offense and defense, than any other guy on that entire team throughout the season. And I understand that argument, but I think when you stand in front of the team, it's one thing to give the quarterbacks like green jerseys when I played at Nebraska, and you just don't touch the guys with green jerseys. Okay, no big deal. Maybe there's a guy who's injured and he dons a green jersey as well. That didn't happen a lot, but it happened every once in a while. Okay, the guy's injured. He's trying to get reps. He's trying to get back into the flow. Let's be smart. Let's not, re-injure our teammate who's trying to get back on the path to being healthy. Cool, no problem with that. But when you stand in front of the team and you specifically say, don't touch this guy, and this guy, that just comes across different. Everybody already knows there's favorites on that team, but you just stand there and just say it. It comes across different. It rubs me the wrong way. Frankly, it comes across as not only favoritism, division in the locker room, which you're clearly seeing, which he is clearly, whether he realizes it or not, as much as I root for Coach Prime. And trust me, I want him to succeed. I wish it was not at Colorado, but I want him to succeed because he brings eyeballs and, frankly, an electricity and a celebrity to college football that just, I don't know that anyone else can bring, and I love it. I love it. When Colorado was 3-0 last year, I wasn't excited that Nebraska was a part of those first three opponents, but I was excited about the buzz it was creating. But, man, I tell you what, he's blatantly making a division in the locker room, whether he realizes it or not. And it's happening in the locker room, and the reports are coming out. And I wonder what happens one day whenever Deion's gone. He's not going to stay at Colorado forever. He may not even stay there long. And, boy, he better win this year. I tell you what, the only thing that's going to cure what's going on or what's coming out is winning. And whether people like it or not, winning cures just about everything. If he wins, it'll be forgotten. If he doesn't, more stories are going to come out and more stories will leak out. And one day when he's not there, especially if it doesn't go well, when people have no reason to hold back, then I wonder what comes out. And I hope I'm wrong on that. I really do. So for me, I think Coach Prime is not interested in developing players. He's interested in getting players that are ready to go, which is why he prefers the transfer portal. And that's a risky way to try to build a team. Okay, it's the way he wants to do it. It's a way of trying to get instant talent. You can almost hearken it back to when Bill Snyder was trying to build Kansas State and he was bringing in junior college players, a little bit more ready type players, and he had success with that, especially for what Kansas State was before he got there, which was a very struggling program. And he built them up, and they've been good ever since. So I'm curious to see if this can work for Deion, but it's not going to work if you don't have a culture. People are going to leave. People are going to go on social media and complain. People are going, if they lose right out the gate, and they've got North Dakota State, I tell you what, that is not a gimme. That is the opposite. Now, when I talk about culture, they've got a culture. Okay, then you get to come to Lincoln. Come on in, boys. Everybody be hydrated for that game. Let's see how your culture is then. And then you're going to play Colorado State. Whether you think they're any good or not, that's their Super Bowl. If Colorado doesn't do well those first three games, that's when you can see the culture of Colorado, if it's as bad as it appears to be, if it isn't, and how that goes. The one final thought I had, and I'm actually going to stick up a little bit for Deion on this, the way he went after some of the reporters. Now, I know what it's like to be on both sides of this mic. I know what it's like to be the player, not a coach, but a player being interviewed, and I know what it's like to be over here interviewing players, coaches, etc. And I've always been of the opinion that being a coach, part of your job is talking to the media. A player, to a degree, I think it's part of being a team leader, but I don't know. I guess it's part of your job now that you're getting paid NIL. But I've always thought that if somebody got frustrated with a member of the media, right, wrong, or indifferent, they're entitled to their opinion. But they don't really control the narrative. So if a certain media member doesn't like how he's treated, you can post it on social media, and then you can lambaste the coach for that. And honestly, that's the perfectly fine thing to do if you're that member of the media and you feel disrespected. I'm not knocking anybody in the media. I'm part of the media now. I have the utmost respect now that I've been on this side for going on 11 years, over a decade, what this takes. It takes a lot of hard work, time, and dedication. There was a time after I'd been misquoted, partially quoted, and certain members of the media for NFL teams I played for were clearly looking for headlines and clickbaits. I wasn't the biggest fan of the media as a whole, but then I got to meet certain people and get to know them more individually. And what you find is that 95% of the folks you meet are just gigantic sports fans who love sports, and they're working their butts off to do the best they can. You've always got those one or two, people who are a pain in the butt, but you can find that anywhere. You can find that working at the pool, working at McDonald's, working wherever. So I don't know if that's, newsworthy when it pertains to the media, because most people are great folks who just love sports and want to do a great job. But I will stick up for Prime when it comes to this Deion, whatever you want to call him. If he has an issue and he wants to call a person out at the press conference, hey, I got no problem with that, because I talk about people publicly. So why can't he call me out publicly if he wants to? If you're going to say things on a show like I do all the time, or write them in an article, or put them out for the world to see. Now, maybe he could have done it more professionally, but he didn't name call. He didn't F-bomb. He didn't even yell. His whole chemistry thing, what is chemistry? If you saw that clip, that clip hasn't been circulating as much. I was kind of like, all right, now you're digging a little bit. At a certain point, you can just answer a guy's question, because a guy asked him about chemistry, and then he disregarded the question, goes, what is chemistry? You guys talk about it all the time. I did think it was funny when he was like, if you don't even have it at home, but you go home anyways, or something to that effect. I thought that line was actually pretty funny. But a player or coach has the right to respond, and has the right to respond publicly. I would just ask that you keep it respectful, which honestly, he didn't make anything disrespectful, I didn't think, except towards CBS. And he didn't make it personal. I'm actually going to be fine with that. I got no problem with that. That man didn't like something that CBS did. I don't know what it is. Deion didn't like something, and he had no problem verbalizing it. I did not see a clip where there was an insult, an F-bomb, raising of the voice, and nothing was made personal. He basically just said, I got nothing to do with CBS. They know what they did, and I ain't going to mess with it. He actually complimented the reporter who worked for a local CBS station there in Denver, who's like, I'm not part of the national CBS. He says, hey, you work for him. This ain't personal. I respect you. He actually showed that guy respect. It's who you work for as a whole. And so that's the one thing that I'm going to say, hey, I got no problem with it. Everything else, they might have gigantic issues at Colorado, but we'll see how those first 3 games go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We're going to pay some bills, and then I'll be joined by former Nebraska fullback Andy Janovich right after this.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. The new EPL season starts this Friday on the 16th as Man United takes on Fulham at 2 p.m. EPL action then continues on Saturday as West Ham takes on Aston Villa at 11:30 a.m. on Saturday. Then we wrap up the week on Sunday as Chelsea takes on Man City at 10:30 a.m. You can catch all these matches and more at the McKinney's Irish Pub, your headquarters in Lincoln for English Premier League soccer at 8th and P.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
The weather is hot, the kids are out of school, and you're on your way to the lake and summer road trips. Are you getting to your vacation spot comfortably, or is your car letting you down? Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride for summer road trips and beyond. Mullen Motors.
No tag-ons, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and my schedule can get a little hectic. From softball practices to going to class, traveling for games, spending time with family, and catching up with friends, I am always on the go. I want a bank that can help me from anywhere, but also be there when I need them. That's Midwest Bank. They have the same mobile banking technology as those big banks, but have that hometown feel that I like every time I walk through the doors. They make banking easy no matter where I am. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from a program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. HealthLink is elevating the human experience with holistic health, weight loss, nutrition, fitness, and wellness solutions. They offer one-on-one health coaching while personalizing nutrition and wellness plans for structure and simplicity. HealthLink provides nutritious foods such as high-protein entrees, meal replacement snacks, and supplements. But that's not all. If you mention 93.7 The Ticket, you'll get a 5% discount on your order and $20 off your first month if you start a HealthLink subscription. Find your missing link with HealthLink today on the southeast corner of 70th and Pioneers or by phone at 402-858-9356.
Hey, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. It's official. Wedding season is here, and we know that every detail counts. From bridal party gifts to the finishing touches for the bride and groom, discover our exclusive selection of watches and fine jewelry. Did you know we even offer in-house engraving? Celebrate your special day with a personal touch and a timeless gift they'll cherish forever. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Right, Matt Rule wants to be there. He wants to develop them. He wants to have coaches that have their hands on, are molding them and shaping them. And to your point, giving them the drills, giving them the tools to succeed. But I think Matt Rule is saying at the end of the day, the coaches can't want it more than the players.
Yeah.
The coaches
Because they can't
hold
get out
their
there and do
hand
nothing
on the field.
Yeah, they can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
This is area race announcer James Rowland. Join me and Bree Fansteel every Sunday night from 7 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket for The Finish Line, where we cover all things motorsports from local racing to racing around the world. Every Sunday night from 7 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to Adam Carriker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Adam Carriker on The Ticket. All right. I'm excited to talk to my next guest. This is a guy from Gretna, Nebraska. All right. He played the fullback position, I think one of the most favorite positions by every Nebraskan on any Nebraska football team. All right, now he was drafted in the 6th round, okay, by the Denver Broncos, played 7 years in the NFL. During his time with the Big Red, he was an all Big Ten performer, Tom Novak Award winner, Nebraska Lifter of the Year in 2015, also Nebraska Scholar Athlete Honor Roll. Mr. Andy Janovich, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you joining me, and I got to ask, okay, what are your thoughts going into year 2 under Matt Rule? What are your just kind of your general thoughts, general impressions? Have you had a chance to be around the team at all? And, whether you have or haven't, kind of what are your thoughts on the excitement level for year 2 under Matt Rule?
Unfortunately, I haven't been around the team at all or anything like that. Don't make it back. Kind of tied down with work here and there, but I don't know. I see a little bit here and there on social media. He's always got team building events, and I mean, it seems like they're a pretty close knit group. And just last year, some of the heartbreaking games that we lost, we were always in it until the end. It's just, mistakes here and there that cost us games. But I like where our defense is. I mean, we got a young defense, and they were killing it. They held us in a lot of games last year. And I like the new quarterback. I'm pretty excited for this year. I think we'll get 8-9 wins right now, is my guess.
Ooh, I like that. All right. So let's just start with like the first 7 games. When you look at Nebraska's schedule, you've got teams like UTEP, obviously Colorado at home, Illinois, Purdue, Rutgers, who I do think will not be an easy game, coming into Lincoln, Indiana. When you think about Nebraska's first 7 opponents, All right, you think Nebraska can win 8 or 9 games this year. Let's just look at those first 7 games as a whole. What do you think Nebraska's record needs to be? Because the last 5 games of the year, you've got Ohio State, Iowa, UCLA, USC, Wisconsin. So it gets a little bit tougher the last 5 games. What do you think Nebraska's record needs to be after the first 7 games to say end up 8-4 at the end of the year?
I'd say at least 5-2 right now. 6-1 wouldn't hurt my feelings either, but or 7. I think at least 5-2 because I think Wisconsin's had our number for a long time, and which pains me to say, but I think we can get Wisconsin. I'd like to knock them off. They're a team I do not like. Obviously Iowa. I hate them. I don't even know if we play them this year, but can't stand Iowa.
Oh, yeah, of course we play Iowa. All right, I got to ask you, if you could only choose for Nebraska, obviously we want to beat them both, but if you could only pick one game between Wisconsin and Iowa for Nebraska to win, I'm putting you on the spot here, all right, which game would you pick Nebraska to win? Like, which game would you prefer that the Huskers win, Iowa or Wisconsin, if they could only win one of them?
I'd probably say Iowa. I have a deep hate for Iowa, too. I'm sorry. And they're a neighboring state, and, everybody has to compare Iowa and Nebraska. So I'm going to go with Iowa.
I had someone ask me, and they're a non-Nebraskan. So, you got to forgive their ignorance. Great person, but Nebraska football is not their strong suit. They go, do you guys even have a rival anymore? And it actually got me thinking, because obviously Iowa is the first team that comes into my mind. But when you think about Oklahoma of yesteryear, Colorado for a while, the whole little brother, big brother thing, they wouldn't allow people to wear red in their building for the longest time. Do you consider, is Nebraska, Iowa a true bitter type rivalry, or is it something that's not quite there yet in your mind?
That's a tough one, actually. I don't even know how to answer that one. Yeah, I think it'll get there. It's probably not there yet. Maybe in the next 5-10 years, it'll be down that road. But yeah, I just don't think there's enough history over the course of the years to have that to be a true rivalry like Oklahoma, Texas, Colorado. Back in the day,
I do think, because the rivalry, unfortunately, has been a little one-sided. Nebraska got the win a couple of years ago on the road. Iowa ekes one out in last year. I do think if Nebraska can go on the road and get that win the last game of the year on Black Friday in Iowa again, which means we will have beaten them twice in a row in their house, 2 out of 3 years. I do think that helps. And I do think that helps lift the rivalry a lot to a little bit. And I think it'll bring more of a national appeal to that as well. So you mentioned Nebraska's close games last year. As we know, a lot of close games, a lot of close losses, et cetera, et cetera. What was the biggest thing that you saw last year that Nebraska was just missing on a little bit? And I'm going to take turnovers out of this because that's the obvious one. Other than turnovers, other than turnovers, what's the next biggest thing you think Nebraska needs to improve on going into this fall to win those freaking close games?
That's another tough question. I mean, a lot of times it seems like we always shoot ourselves in the foot, fourth quarter. So I don't know why there's some sort of lack of focus a lot of times there, or, maybe we're too obvious what we're going to run. I really don't know. It always seems like we're right there at the fourth quarter and then we just shoot ourselves in the foot. But outside of turnovers, just sloppy play. I don't want to go into play calling because that's not my job. And I'm not going to, say that I could do a better job, but it's just always at the end of the game. It's like there's some sort of lack of focus and we're playing not to lose, but not to win,
Well, let's be real. Anybody who owns an NCAA college football game thinks that they're a better play caller nowadays. That's just kind of how it goes. So let's be real about that. My 15-year-old is telling me about the play call. So apparently he believes he could do better, but he is actually pretty freaking smart at football. But so I got an interesting question for you specifically. Being from Gretna, coming and playing at Nebraska, Matt Rule and his staff, they've made it a priority to recruit Nebraska again and make it a priority to get Nebraska kids to want to play for and to come to the University of Nebraska to play football. And actually I chatted with Nebraska women's soccer coach last week, Coach Walker, and almost half their team is from Nebraska, and this is a team that almost made it to the Final Four in women's soccer a year ago. So what are your thoughts? Like, do you think it's overrated trying to get Nebraska kids to stay in state? Are you glad that there's finally an emphasis back on it? What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's very important. I mean, any kid that grows up in Nebraska, you have Nebraska football. That's your pro team, that's your college team, that's your dream team. I grew up, from a young age just wanting to play at Nebraska ever since I was, 5 years old. I just feel like you get the kids from Nebraska, they play harder, they put everything on the line compared to some of these scholarship kids out of state. They're kind of there for not everyone, but they're just there. They get to play football, they get a free education, all that, and they can make some nil money or whatever it is now. I just think you get these Nebraska kids walk-ons, and if you do get the scholarship guys, they just put a little bit more on the line and play with a little bit more heart, and I think that makes a big difference.
All right, man, I want to talk about the fullback position specifically because that's a position that isn't used as much anymore, and we can argue whether that's right or wrong. I'm personally along the lines of someone who would like to use it more just in general, not even talking about the Huskers, but just in general football. But the Nebraska football position fullback position is one that's near and dear to Huskers' hearts. Okay, so what are your thoughts on the fullback position in today's football, college football? Do you think it's something that's not being utilized enough? If you were coaching a team, let's say a high school team, what would your thoughts on using the fullback position be? And it might depend on the personnel that you have, but just what are your thoughts on the fullback, how it is or isn't being used in today's college football?
I think you need it. Maybe that's just me being biased, but you got all these teams going spread offenses, so they try to adjust their defenses with smaller guys, faster guys. You put a fullback in the game that you can utilize in the right ways. He's opening up holes. You got a 240, 50-pound fullback, and you're going against 225-pound linebackers. I mean, he's just going to crush them. And it just opens lanes for the running back, and you should rush a couple hundred yards. I mean, I just don't see why people don't see that sometimes. So I think it's very well needed.
All right, so I asked you this question years ago. I think I interviewed you the first time ever was like 8-9 years ago. But I think it's a question that if people don't remember that interview or didn't hear it, I think it's an interesting question because what's the loudest? And there's one play that's in my mind, okay? And hopefully you say the same play, if not, no big deal. But what's the loudest you've ever heard Memorial Stadium while you were on the field? Like a specific game, a specific play, something along those lines.
For me, it's going to be Wisconsin. I'm assuming that's what you're thinking too.
Yep.
But then the other time when we beat Michigan State my senior year when they're rated number 6 or 7, it was pretty loud that game too.
So the Wisconsin, you had was it a 50-yard touchdown run? Was that about how long it was? Yeah. The fans were going crazy. And it's the craziest thing that you bring up, the Brandon Riley catch versus Michigan State. I was, scrolling through Facebook and that play randomly came up and I just watched it this morning, and I hadn't seen that play in years. So yeah, it's funny because that was an insanely loud game as well. All right, my friend, I was going to ask you for a final record prediction for Nebraska, but you already said 8-4, 9-3. So is that kind of your final record prediction for Nebraska this fall then, 8-4, 9-3?
Yep, that's where I'm sitting right now.
All right, man, what are you doing these days? I'm sure folks want to know what you're up to these days.
I just got my roofing company and do a little bit here and there on the side for my brother, Jim. Then I started a dock company with one of my friends from high school.
All right, man, give it a plug. Where can people find it if they want to bring you in to do some work? How can people find it?
Well, we got Andy Janovich Roofing, just so I can't forget. That's the roofing company. And then we got the dock company. It's Quality Docks and Lifts. Do a lot of pretty custom docks, and they're pretty cool. I'd recommend checking those out if you live on a lake.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, check those out. And Mr. Janovich, my friend, thank you for joining me.
Yep, thank you very much for having me.
All right, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Grandma and Grandpa, Mom and Dad, then the kids, and now the grandkids. Judson Irrigation has provided lawn sprinkler system design, installation, repair, and service to 4 generations. They're just like members of the family. Loyalty, trust, service. It's what you deserve and expect from Judson Irrigation.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
We strive to help people get into home ownership. That is the American dream. Having something that you can go home at night and say, this is mine, is very important. The great thing about Remington Homes is affordability.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, talking about their exciting new division, Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier.
The exciting thing about a Remington home is you get to choose your floor plan from predetermined floor plans. We give you a lot of choices, and you couple that with our great lot selection in all different areas. People do not want to be married to their house payment. They want to get a nice house with nice finishes in a great area for an affordable price. And that's what Remington Homes are all about.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
Water heater gone? Call Bryant. The price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. And in most cases, same-day replacement. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111.
All right, it's time for Final Jeopardy. It's been a tight contest today that all comes down to this final question. No summer picnic or family get-together or trip to the lake is complete without this particular item. Let's go first to Bob.
What is beer?
No, that's not it. Think about the kids. Over to you, Farley.
What is corn on the cob?
Tough to grill that on a boat. Wrong again. Grace, this time for the win.
What is Bure's cheese spread?
We have a winner! Bure's cheese spread, available in most local grocers in Nebraska. Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings and Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. The new EPL season starts this Friday on the 16th as Man United takes on Fulham at 2 p.m. EPL action then continues on Saturday as West Ham takes on Aston Villa at 11:30 a.m. on Saturday. Then we wrap up the week on Sunday as Chelsea takes on Man City at 10:30 a.m. You can catch all these matches and more at the McKinney's Irish Pub, your headquarters in Lincoln for English Premier League soccer at 8th and P.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
As a proud member of the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, Coalition Restoration stands out by providing thorough property assessments, personalized customer service, and top-notch craftsmanship. With years of experience in the industry, Coalition Restoration has built a notable reputation for having a team filled with skilled professionals and possessing the expertise to handle any roofing project, big or small. Visit their website today for a free roof assessment at www.coalitionrestoration.com or give them a call at 402-607-8186.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different.
At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zip line gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Do you have gently used books just waiting to be given new life in the hands of new readers? Linked to Literacy can help. We're gathering books for our second annual Wordstock event at Antelope Park on August 24th. It's a community-wide book swap where people can shop for free books and enjoy fun activities. From now until August 19th, you can drop off your book donations at several locations throughout Lincoln. So gather up books for both kids and adults and find a collection site near you at linkedtoliteracy.org. Then plan to join the fun on August 24th.
You're listening to Adam Carriker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Adam Carriker on The Ticket. I almost forgot to give a shout out, if you're watching on the tube of you, to the shirt that I'm wearing. Throw the Bones shirt, baby. You can get them at carrikerchronicles.com. Oh, and while we're on the topic, the Carriker Chronicles returns Sunday, August 25th at 6 p.m. Central Time. The first two shows, I'm going to talk right out the gate, ladies and gentlemen. Will Dylan Raiola live up to the hype? That's going to be the show that's coming out August 25th. Then I'm going to interview the greatest college football coach of all time. No disrespect, Nick Saban. No disrespect, Paul Bear Bryant, etc., Tom Osborne. Those are going to be the first two shows right out of the gate. All right, get all merch, everything else, 25, 26, actually, content providers now, carrikerchronicles.com. And on the tube of you, YouTube, the Carriker Chronicles returns Sunday, August 25th, 6 p.m. Central Time. As always, you can check out everything, The Ticket, theticket.com, all social medias, all podcast platforms, TV, radio. It's every frickin' where, ladies and gentlemen. And if you can't see the shirt, it's a Throw the Bones shirt. It is a year or two old. I should go to carrikerchronicles.com and get another one. Hashtag cheap plug. All right, let's get into my top 15. All right, preseason poll. Now, I'm going to try to get to from 15 to 10 before this show is over. And actually, I started to do some research because, there's going to be 12 teams in the college football playoff, and one of them is going to be a non-Power 4 team. And so I've got a list of my top 6 Power 4 teams and actually my top 3. And the one team that I think will get in, and I'm not so sure that it's going to be Liberty, but we'll see. That may actually have to wait for Friday as well. And I do want to apologize. I have neglected our text line, 402-464-5685. I want to get back into shouting anybody out who wants to text 402-464-5685, sending questions, thoughts, concerns, or otherwise. The show is always so loaded, but that's not an excuse, and I accept responsibility. So, Tiger Shark Diver, by the way, sends in a lot of comments, and I appreciate that. Says Deion subprime. Great comment. The conservative Huskers says Nebraska hasn't been good. Oh, wow, I should have read that before, but that's okay. Nebraska hasn't been good enough for a true rivalry anywhere. Soon, though. All right, I'm glad I read the whole comment. And Rick James Enterprise says, LOL, subprime. Apparently, he liked that comment as well. All right, My 15th ranked team in the country coming into the preseason is Oklahoma. They lost their entire offensive line. They lost their quarterback. Oh, my goodness. I actually really like Oklahoma. But why aren't they in the top 10? Okay. Brent Venables enters year 3 and made a nice jump last year with 10 wins. Going to the SEC, the defense has veteran talent everywhere, honestly. I think the defense can be better even than they were a year ago, and it needs to be better, honestly, than they were a year ago. It gave up far too many big plays last year. Jackson Arnold. All right, this is a young quarterback with a bright future. I know everyone in Nebraska wants to talk about Dylan Raiola for obvious reasons, but Jackson Arnold is a guy who could find himself in New York at some point over the next 3 years. He had 5 turnovers in their bowl game loss to Arizona in the Alamo Bowl, which is why they lost, but he was also a true freshman making his first start, and he clearly wasn't ready. But he had to because Dylan Gabriel had already transferred to Oregon. Let's change that transfer portal date, but that's a topic for another day. He's going to take over a quarterback as Jackson Arnold, but similar to Kansas State, we have to start trusting these programs. I believe Arnold, because he can run, he can throw, he's got all the tools. He's just got to actually do it on the field. Okay, now here's the Sooners' biggest issue, and this is why they're not higher on the list. Okay, because I think they can be a lot better than they were last year. Their schedule is brutal. I mean, it's like when Nebraska first joined the Big Ten, and the Big Ten said, hey, you're going to play Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State. You're going to play the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos. You're not coming in here and winning right away. All right, so here's their schedule. Tennessee, top 15. Texas, top 5. Ole Miss, top 5. Missouri, top 10. Alabama, top 10. LSU, top 15. 6 teams in the top 15, 4 in the top 10, and Texas, and actually 2 in the top 5 with Texas and Ole Miss. Schedule does them no favors, but I still think they can be pretty good if they can protect a young quarterback and they can replace, pretty much the whole line, which won't be easy to do. USC, I got them at 14. They're going to score points. And actually, their defense might be better. They flat out stole Danton Lynn, UCLA, their defensive coordinator. It still cracks me up. Like, they literally said, hey, you're our biggest rival. You live in the same city as us, and we're going to smack you in the face and kick you between the legs, and we're going to take your D coordinator. I mean, my goodness, that had to hurt. And also, UCLA lost their head coach. But the Trojans should be better on defense because of Dan Tomlin. He's a good defensive coordinator. UCLA actually wasn't half bad on defense, and they were getting better. Okay, they also brought in Matt Entz and Eric Henderson to help coach the defense. They were awful, as we know, on defense last year. If they did tackling drills at all in their practices, it didn't show. Okay, but it wasn't just the players' fault. They were not well coached. If I would watch them and be like, what are they doing? Like, what in the world? Is that cover 2 or is that cover 0? And those are 2 coverages that are very, very different, and they shouldn't look that similar, if I'm being honest with you. I'm not a coverage expert, but that just shows you how obviously bad it was. Okay, they're going to be able to score. I think they're going to be better on defense. All right, so I got them number 14. All right, number 13. This is going to be where we stop, because I'm going to leave the top 12 for Friday, because basically that'll be my top 12 college football playoff teams. Now, it's not the seeding. It's not the seeding. Because I'll tell you right now, I don't have Florida State winning the ACC. I have them 13th here. The team that's going to win the ACC, I have them 12th. But if they win the ACC, they're a top 4 seed. So I'm just going through top 12 best teams. And I probably will discuss just a little bit the group of 5 teams, because unlike most people, they actually do interest me. I like Cinderella. I like upsets. Boise, Oklahoma, Utah, Pittsburgh, although that wasn't close and that wasn't really Cinderella. But Tulane versus USC. If you have any idea what I'm talking about from bowl games over the years. Hey, the Georgia Hawaiis, that's going to happen every once in a while. Again, if you know what I'm talking about, you're a true college football fan, because I'm going very topical because I got to go fast. But here's Florida State. I love Mike Norvell. I think Florida State's going to be good, but they lost a lot, which is why I don't have them winning the ACC. And I've already put Clemson on this list. I think around 19th I had them. So it ain't Clemson. It ain't Florida State. Tune in Friday. My next live show, I'll be talking wrestling with DP tomorrow to see who I have winning the ACC. All right, Florida State is replacing a lot from the team that was undefeated and left out of the playoffs. Now it continued to hit the transfer portal hard, just like it did a year ago in the offseason. This team should be good. It just has to replace so much. And how well is it going to gel? I don't know. I really don't. Okay. I think we need to start believing in Mike Norvell and what he's building. And I think most people do. But can he do it year after year after year is my question. Okay. The true test is whether the Seminoles can stay at a top 10 level type team. And I'm not sure that they can. That's why I have them at 13th. They have a lot of talent, but they have so much new, which is why I've got them at 13th, and I've actually got them finishing second in the ACC. We will have here's the final teaser, and I got to get out. We will have an ACC championship game that the ACC has dreamed of, okay, since Miami joined this conference about 20 years ago. There was a point in time where Miami and Florida State, for about 3 or 4 years, the first few years they joined the ACC, played the first game of the year, Memorial Day night. And then they quit doing that. But they did it because they were anticipating a yearly rematch almost a year after year in the ACC championship game, and they wanted space between the two games. It just didn't come to fruition. I just gave away my pick for Friday for winning the ACC, but that's okay. I think Miami is going to be pretty good this year. All right, there's a little teaser for Friday. My top 12 teams on Friday, also my top 6 group of 5 teams. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a glorious Monday. Until then, and also tune in tomorrow to talk a little pro wrestling with DP. Until then, go Big Red, and always remember to throw the bones.